A little bit later this week, but I think well worth the wait, if not extremely worth the wait. We have an awesome guest here, don't we, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, super excited to dive into today's episode. We've got some cool headlines to get into, and most importantly, Mitchell Watts of, should we say TC Customs as your main thing, or Town and Country TV?
Yeah.
Probably
Both. So first off, thank you very, very much for having me. I appreciate it very much. So excited. Been watching your content for quite some time, but yeah, Town and Country Ford, Town and Country TV is actually our YouTube channel. We are a Ford dealership. We also have a custom shop where we work on everything that's Ford and not Ford, and also an EV F-150 Lightning owner myself. So absolutely glad to be here, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
that's going to be hard to top Mitchell after this. I hope we got some incredible guests lined up, because it's going to be hard to beat Mitchell.
It's a great
come on now.
We were talking about goals at the beginning of this, how YouTube makes you set like random little goals of like, I want to hit this many subscribers or whatever. And things like this are those cool little like ladder rungs on the way where we can meet new people, we can get, more viewpoints, get some, a bigger perspective. I love it. It's so exciting for me.
Absolutely.
We already have some comments rolling in. I'm going to go ahead and throw them on the screen. If you guys want to come in, say hi. We'll do our best to answer those as you go. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited today.
I see in the chat, I was going to save this question for the interview, but somebody beat me to it. So Mitch, you're real shy about this, but can we just break the ice with how tall you are? I feel like you don't tell viewers enough how tall you are.
That has been the biggest and most fantastic accident that had ever happened. Starting years ago, for those of you guys that don't watch our channel, Town and Country TV, I started to try and, give people perspective. How tall is this Ford vehicle? Because you look at a video, you can't tell how tall something is. And I realized, I was like, you know what? As you see, I can fit in this back seat, no problem, because I'm 6'3". Look at all the headroom. And then I found out that I did it the next video, and then the next video, and now it's turned into this running joke that if you've ever watched one of our videos, if I don't say that I'm 6'3", everybody blows me up in the comments.
Right.
Well, we covered it today then too, just in case.
Absolutely. I am 6'3", so absolutely between 6'1", 6'2", and 6'4", somewhere in there. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna make us hit the biggest thing that I found news this week. I just uploaded about it yesterday. It's semi-unofficial, but it seems pretty solid from what I've been seeing on the forums, is that Ford has seemed to have capped the Pro trim when it comes to being able to purchase one. So there's a big question mark right now. People who were invited in the last wave were not able to order Pros. There's still, like I said, the question mark of, hey, when 3 opens up and it's back at this year's pricing, maybe it'll be available again. But right now we don't know, and it seems like it's sold out. I'll kick it off to either of you guys if you want to cut in here.
Well, who better to maybe shed some light on any confusion that we're having or clarification than Mitchell? So are you also getting this question from your reservation holders at Town and Country?
Believe it or not, no. We've not actually had this question that I've come across. Now, I don't have the ability to work with every single customer independently. So, they might be asking our salespeople, and it just hasn't trickled into me yet. But from what I understand, that the Pro was obviously limited in the 22 model, just because they originally, when they first came out with the F-150 Lightning, a lot of people don't realize that when you're manufacturing a vehicle, you have to pull aside. And once again, I'm not a manufacturing expert. I've just been at this dealership for 22 years, almost 23 years. And so I've just been around long enough to be dangerous. But for what people don't realize is that the F-150 Lightning, they started developing that vehicle. They got the green light on the program back in 2018.
Wow.
Dang.
And people don't realize that it takes that long to take a vehicle from concept to reality. It takes them that long, and they reused a lot of the different things that are that were on the normal F-150, like the shifter handle or the steering wheel or the center cons. They didn't have to redo any of that, and it still took them that long to get it done. I say all of that to say this, is that you have to plan far in advance, far more than your reservation holders can tell you. You have to choose what trim level, We have to guesstimate how many we think that will order the Lariat, how many we think will order the Platinum, how many do we think will order the Pro, and how many in XLT, and keep going and going and going and going.
Totally.
And so I don't think it's any fault of Ford's fault. I just don't think they realized that as many people were going to take it as they would on the Pro model.
Sure.
I think that they figured that oh, really only people going to buy an electric EV are these loaded up, high end customers that got more money than they know what to do with.
You're hopping from an $80,000 Tesla. What was that? 11% people converting from Tesla probably need to have a minimum of a Lariat to match that experience. So there's definitely something to be said there. Yeah.
And so they years ago, way before there was ever a reservation process, Ford estimated that the Lariat extended range was going to be the number one trim that they would have, that they would be, the customers would order. So that's what they ordered the most of, most batteries, most everything. And that's the reason when I ordered my reservation, my reservation was minute one, but that is the only reason that I select. Well, there's two reasons. Blue Cruise was one reason. But realistically, I knew that the Lariat extended range would be the fastest way to get the Lightning.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, and I've watched your YouTube video of you live at the Lightning announcement, and you like bumped into Jim Farley, got to shake his hand, which was really cool. So were you on your phone and you're just refreshing the Ford page on your phone while you're standing there looking at it, or how did that work?
Y'all want the funny story behind that?
Yes.
I broke into that event, legit, had no invitation. So we actually, yeah, and I wasn't even up there for that. I was actually up in Michigan for. I was shooting some videos for the Bronco Nation, which is a organization that is there to show support for how cool the Bronco is, or whatever. Well, they're headquartered, or not really headquartered, but where I was shooting the video happened to be in Michigan because we were using a Bronco. And I'm sitting there. We shot video all that day, and then afternoon goes through, and we're starting editing videos, and I got a phone call and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you up at the headquarters?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, I think they're doing some kind of a reveal on a Lightning or something." And so I was like, "Crap, let's just hop in the car." We hopped in the car. We pulled up, and some lady was like, "Yes, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Mitchell Watts." Like, "I don't see you on the list." And I'm like, "That's because I'm not on the list." Wow. And she said, "I'm sorry, I can't let you in." And I just put my best salesman spiel on, and I said, "Hey, would you, if you don't mind, call your boss. We're a YouTube channel. We'd love to document this. We're huge Ford fans." She made a phone call. They heard my voice on the end of the phone call, and then they let me in for some reason. I still don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
But I thought that was really, really exciting. When the event started, we ended up getting passes. We were sitting in the media booth, and they just launched it, and I was like, "Oh, I need to put a reservation in." And so I went and literally just refreshed it on my phone while I was watching Jim Farley talking about it.
Man.
And it was, and then after the event was all done, I was like, "Hey, Josh, hold the my cameraman." I said, "Hey, Josh, hold the camera. I'm going to see if I can go get on the stage and not get arrested." And it worked out. So, the rest is history. But one thing Jim Farley said as I introduced myself, and he said, "What are you doing here?" That's code for I didn't invite you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be on this stage.
That's exactly right. But anyway, he was a super nice guy. I've got all the respect in the world for him.
Totally.
Yeah, I think every CEO, has their goods and their bads, but I will tell you, I think he's one of the best leaders Ford has had in a long time, since Alan Mulally back in the old school days, the 06, 07, 08.
Yeah. I think I agree. I don't like CEOs in general, mostly. It's like it almost inherently evil when you think about it sometimes. But I like Jim Farley a lot, so it's definitely I think the direction, the roadmap, or whatever. I mean, look, we're here because of it, right? So,
right,
yep.
Yeah.
And if he looks familiar, that's because Chris Farley is his first cousin. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And once someone points that out to you, you can't unsee it. Once somebody points it out.
Yep. It's so true. So true.
Yeah. So steering just a little bit back in on topic here. Long story short, I guess I kind of wanted to pick Joe's mind because I know you're dead set on the Pro.
Yeah.
So either way, we won't find out if you get to order one until wave
Right.
3. We'll have a closer look at that. I've been told by my dealer I'm finally up to bat, hopefully on wave 3.
Oh, cool.
He didn't give me a solid, but he said, I think what he's allowed to say, to whatever extent, he said, yeah, it looks like you're up next, which is great because I've only been waiting, a year and a half or whatever it's been. So I'm excited. And I'll let you know, Joe. You'll be the first to know. I'll be like, hey, pro's available or not.
Yeah, let me know, because I'm also hoping I'm in wave 3. In hindsight, I wish I was minute 1. If I had known, I would have been like Mitch and refreshing. But yeah, I mean, the rumors about the Pro availability in 2023, it has me on the edge of my seat for sure. And remember, Larry, I think on the first time you and I ever talked on YouTube live, which would have been months ago, we were talking about Bronco deliveries and the sheer joy that people experience when they finally got that Bronco after 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years since they placed that reservation. And Mitchell, I'm sure you've seen this at your dealership in the parking lot every day, or every week. And
Every
Larry
day.
and I were both optimistic. We were like, well, we won't get to that point. Like it won't take that long to get our Lightnings, right? But I now completely relate and can understand that that's probably the point we're going to reach next year when we finally, or the year after, when we finally take delivery of these trucks. It will be fall on your knees and cry tears of joy in the parking lot, I think. And every Reddit post and every YouTube comment I see from owners say this truck is worth the wait. So I guess we just got to take their word for it until then, Larry.
Yep.
All right. I'll say this real quick, just because I did get not a new, but a new to me F150 recently, and it's perfectly what I needed, because I can at least wait now and feel, it's at least, it's not going to be that big of a switch. So other than the electricity, obviously. So I'm hanging in there. Anyways, I'm going to, I have a quick question. Someone's asking which one I'm getting. I think I'm downgrading from a Lariat to the XLT now. But we'll see when I actually get to order time. I might go with a Lariat.
Game time decision.
It will be. I'm probably gonna stick with the standard range, but well, guys, I've got something cool for us to watch real quick. This is I'm gonna be sharing my screen, and we're gonna look at this is, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how this works again. Oh, Rivian. So we're shifting to Rivian trucks here, and they have a Rivian that is towing in the water, which is just absolutely insane. Man, am I good at talking and multitasking or what? So I'm gonna
oh my gosh,
with some low volume. Credit to Inside EVs for posting this. The story is that they did not want to wait in the boat launch, so they hop in the Rivian and just watch this thing ride. Just fearless into the water.
I have seen this video, Larry, now that you pull it up. Yeah, and this thing looks absolutely beached, but I mean, it just goes to show that extra capability that you'll get with with an electric truck.
It's fearless in a way.
Yeah.
So it gets crazier too. I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit to how deep he actually gets.
Mitchell, have you put on your scuba gear in the Lightning yet and gotten out on have you gotten that deep?
That is brain damage right there. That is what is that, $110,000 truck? I mean, I know risky. The battery packs are supposed to be waterproof or whatever, but how are you going to explain that to Geico? If something does go wrong.
But how flawlessly it works is almost like, look at him just rolling out, no problem, dog in the back. It's like a regular thing for him.
And you think that interior stayed dry? I guess it would. I mean, as long as the door seals are fine. Jeez.
Yeah. And there's the dog just look at the dude falls on a jet ski too. I've watched this a couple times.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's wild. So I am a big fan of Rivian. I mean, a lot of people think that since we're like a Ford related channel, that I hate everything. I hate Teslas. I hate Chevrolet. I hate Toyota. I hate, Rivian. It's not the case. I like technology. I like, pushing the envelope a little bit farther forward. But there's no way you could get me to spend $100,000 on a truck and then go put it in a lake.
Right.
No.
I hear you. I mean, there's a lot of cool like promo material for the Lightning in some pretty deep water as well as the Rivian. So I'm sure it could handle it. But like you said, is it really worth the
Yeah.
like that's the whole car. If one cell gets water damaged, your whole vehicle is doomed essentially. That's just I mean,
not smart.
It's not the smartest, that's for sure.
But
it's just a risk I would not be willing to take.
Mitchell, to touch on what you just talked about, I was wondering how deep into Rivian information you get, just if only to know, you got a guy on your lot and he's, waffling on whether or not to convert his reservation to an order for the Lightning because he's considering a Rivian, or maybe his name is up at Rivian and he can get one of those. So I would imagine you have to be well educated on the Rivian if you're going to talk him out of that truck and into the Lightning.
That is a great question that has actually never come up.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not. And here's the reason: a lot of the people that were early enough to get a Rivian reservation and early enough to get a Lightning reservation to have it actually count, they're smart enough to realize what the market is doing on those right now. And they're like, yes, I'll convert on both of those, and I'll take whichever one I decide later, and I'm going to flip it and make $20,000. That's so that's the problem in this current world, is that those guys that had enough foresight to think that way, they have enough foresight to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna make some cheddar off this. But to answer your question, I do stay very up to speed on Rivian, Tesla, all of it. Because not because they're my competitor, because it's because I liked it. I like that stuff. Like I'm a camera nerd. I'm a technology nerd. I'm a car nerd. I don't watch sports. I don't watch TV.
In Alabama, you don't watch sports?
We're 30 minutes away from the University of Alabama, and I cannot stand sports.
Wow. You should tell your customers that.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because what Alabama football does to our business on Saturdays. But anyway, that's a different topic for a different live stream. But I've always loved vehicles, and I'm not prejudiced. I mean, like I have an obvious bias towards Ford, but that doesn't mean that everything else sucks.
That's very well put.
Yeah, man. And you said something that definitely caught my attention. I saw a comment while you were talking, and it was, I got a smart electric car. Oh, it's the one right at the top that said, I'm getting in line for a Lightning as a placeholder until I get my Cybertruck. And I wanted to bring up this because there's just been this almost like a ladder or a Russian doll syndrome of like the dolls that you put in. It's like, oh, I wanted a Cybertruck. Well, that's not happening. Okay, well, Rivian? Sure, I'll get a Rivian. Jeez, I'm still waiting for a Rivian. Oh, Lightning looks pretty cool. Oh, I'll get a Lightning. You know what? I just saw the Silverado. Better put a reservation in for that. So I'm guilty of, I joined at the Lightning and started going on, but it's pretty funny.
Does anybody know when they debuted the Tesla Cybertruck?
It was 2019 is my guess.
2019.
I think so.
And there's still no hard concrete evidence on. Okay, so the Tesla Cybertruck, I'm not a fan of it, but it's not because I don't appreciate the technology. It's just not my style. Like what I like about my F-150 Lightning is that I can slide into a parking lot and nobody knows what it is until you pop the front trunk and start loading stuff into it. The Tesla Cybertruck screams, "Pay attention to me!" And I'm not a Cybertruck fan. That's just a styling choice. It's not that I'm a Tesla hater, but they've had since 2019 since they debuted it, and there's still no ETA. The F-150 Lightning came out a year ago, and they had it from the time they announced it to the world to the time they had customers in them was right at a year.
Yeah, which is insane when you
you look back to the Tesla Roadster. phenomenal vehicle, assuming they'll ever build one. But when was that debuted? Like 2018, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those people are, and they paid full, I think, right? To reserve one of those, you had to just buy it straight up or something like that.
It was a crazy amount to reserve. It was either 25,000.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
like I said, great technology. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'll get off on a tangent if you let me.
Hey,
So I
that's
apologize.
what we're here for. We're hanging
Mhm.
out. But you brought up the Cybertruck. I saw this headline a little bit ago, so I figured we might as well bring it up. Test mule for the Cybertruck finally seeing city streets. That's what we're looking at here. This defeated Cyber with some cameras on it is supposedly, yeah, they're out testing, they're out getting a little road experience on it.
Mhm.
So this is you know, I almost made a video about it, but it's really just a very small
Right.
step forward for them, so it's nothing concrete. But hey, you know, it's just that much more hope that these Cybertruck guys might see a vehicle this decade. You know,
Well, and that's why I don't have strong feelings toward the Cybertruck, but having gone through this process with the Lightning of waiting, the only thing is I can now empathize with all those Cybertruck people that have fallen in love with that vehicle. Because I can't imagine waiting as long as they have, and I truly hope I don't wait that long for my Lightning. I hope we don't get to that point. But yeah, I
At
guess
least some
reassuring to see
exist.
that. Yeah,
We know people
At
own
least
Lightnings. Nobody's touching a Cybertruck.
I saw my first Lightning that wasn't on a dealer lot
Oh.
in Westchester, Ohio, driving out of the Lowe's home improvement,
Right.
and that just was like it was like it reignited my hope. I'm like, it's real, it's here. It was turning left. I see it. Oh, it was so
Yeah,
cool.
my neighbor a couple doors down has one, so I gotta go make friends. Maybe you'll let me take it for a ride soon.
He has a Lightning?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I know. And
I'd be
in
bugging
Michigan,
him every
tough.
day.
I don't know him. I just drive by him, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll make friends. Anyway, I think it's time to talk about not a truck, actually. Shifting to the Kia EV9. Do you guys follow this at all, or do you want me to set it up real quick?
Set it up.
So I think this is actually going to be one of the biggest EV releases in the next couple years.
Mhm.
You know, there's no larger SUV EVs on the road. There's more mid-size EVs than you could imagine. You know, there's EV6, Hyundai Ioniq, there's Tesla Model Y, there's the Mach-E, yada yada yada. I could go on, but there's not that full-size SUV or even something like a, I don't know, Explorer or Traverse size.
Right.
And the EV9 has been teased for a long time from Kia as their entrance into the realm. Now, of course, we have the Rivian R1S. Now, this will be the only other one than the R1S, at least for right now. And Kia, you know, can kind of scale their vehicles. So there's actual potential to get this one too. So that's why I'm calling it the very first one, because the R1S is just so hard to get, you know, it'll be very tough. So I'm going to share another more of a, I guess, spy shot of it, but it's another really good sign that this thing is going to be here soon. Now, first of all, I'll turn the mic over to you guys if you have any thoughts while I find the actual concept photos. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, my fiance drives a Kia Soul, and I'm not trying to be funny, but seeing this shot, the front end of it is giving me Kia Soul vibes a little bit.
Very fair.
The whole silhouette even. But I will follow that up, that jab, with I saw the Kia EV9 concept at the Chicago Auto Show, and it made a serious impression. I mean, it was a mannequin. It was more art than it was car, but it was a 3D thing that you could walk around and see it, and it was beautiful in person. So, Mitchell, what are your thoughts? I have a feeling you won't be placing a reservation for this one. What do you think?
No, you can pretty much bet. I'm not betting. I'm not going to put a reservation on that. It just that I'm out on that deal.
You're out.
I'm out on that deal right there.
What's the biggest turnoff? Is it the Cybertruck clone kind of look, that like the same sort of thing that you don't like in the Cybertruck? or
See, so what I have found out, because the F-150 Lightning is the first EV that I've owned. Obviously, I've been around the Mach-E a good bit, but prior to the Mach-E, my neighbor had a Tesla. That's pretty much it. Never really got in it, spent a lot of time in it, but I respected the technology. The F-150 Lightning is the first EV I've ever owned. And maybe it's an Alabama thing, because whether you like it or not, some people, they look at an EV as a political statement, whether it is or it isn't.
Right.
okay.
And so I like cool technology regardless, period, end of paragraph. Politics aside, I don't necessarily want to flash the fact that I'm driving an EV. I just want a vehicle that works, that does it better than everything else. I just want what I want, and I want it to work well. I don't need it to look like that.
Hey, nothing.
Right.
I love the honesty and sincerity in that answer, because I think a lot of people feel that way, but they'll find 60 other reasons of why to say it instead of just straight up, the answer there, which there's a lot of truth to that. I of course just got rid of my Tesla, but the whole time I had it, you'd get weird looks from people just for having a T in the front of your vehicle. And it's like, hey, this is American made. Like, I don't know what's wrong, man. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Can't all cars
some people that they're just so divisive, and they just, why can't you just respect another vehicle? That's like I said, that's what I like about the F-150 Lightning, is that it's just, I can fly under the radar, or I can pop frunks and blow minds. So
man.
Something that jumps out to me, Larry, that you might like though about this EV9, the stance of it makes it look a little off-road, a little off-roady. Just the fact that the wheel wells come out a little bit. I
love that about it. I think because Kia, I've said this in a couple of videos. I don't talk about them enough, but as far as like, I don't know, fresh faces, I think they did a killer job with their rebrand, their logo, the new colors they offer. I, while searching for my wife's car, tried to get her in a Telluride like 60 times, because the like Nighthawk edition and the stealth gray colors they have, they look off-road worthy. They look badass.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, Kia has won me over, which is a company I would have never thought in a million years I would have cared about. And now they've got vehicles that I'd consider. I test drove the EV6, like I mentioned, and it drives. They've got the EV technology. They're one of the only ones doing 800 volt charging right now. They can, or 800 volt architecture. Like, they're the only ones hitting those high speed charge rates. Like, they're a competitor. And that's the reason why I am so excited about this vehicle, I think.
Will
I get one?
And
but I like it.
And more competition is always good. As the guy who's always complaining that these are too expensive, that's where every EV that comes out, even if it's not for me, I love it, because at least it might keep each manufacturer in check, and they'll be competing to have an affordable EV. I don't think we're far away from that, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Mitchell, you had a awesome video, the drag race video. I had a blast watching that one. One of my favorites of yours.
Well, thank you.
And I'll let you tee up a little bit about it, but I bring it up because I have a video that we can all watch in just a moment of a Rivian and a Lightning doing a tug of war. So I'm going to let you just kind of share whatever you're willing to share. Maybe I'm sure people have already watched it. If they're here, they've already seen your video. But you could let them know a little about that. And then I'd like you guys to, if you haven't seen the video, guess of who you think will win. And then we could watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that video that he's referencing, that was a lot of fun for me as well. We raced an F-150 Lightning standard range versus an extended range, and then the winner went up against a Mustang Mach-E GT.
Yeah.
And what shocked me out of that whole race was two things. One, the 0 to 60 foot on the standard range. That out of the whole, that standard range battery is significantly faster. And I still don't know if I know exactly. That's the only thing I can write it off to.
Yeah, I can't think of any other reason. Yeah,
I mean, because it's got 100 horsepower less, give or take.
Right.
but it's got the same amount of torque. And then if you back off the fact that, hey, I don't have as much weight going on, that explains why, you know, because torque, they say, is what kind of gets you going. Horsepower is what keeps you going even faster. It's kind of the redneck way that I've always described it. But it's, you know, so I was shocked how fast that standard range was out of the hole. And then I was also very, very shocked once we finally got a good race, the extended range Lightning versus the Mustang Mach-E GT, that the Mach-E beat it barely by what, a car length. Apparently my watch is listening to me. But so they're telling me, here's what I found.
Always listening.
I'm telling you. But yeah, I was shocked at how fast that F-150 Lightning is. The fact that it was even in the ballpark of the performance sedan, performance SUV, blows my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, yeah, to me, it's the best of both worlds.
That was awesome. Yeah. So your quick prediction.
I would guess. Does anybody know what the torque is on the Rivian? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I just looked it up. So Google is telling me between 600 and 900. I would imagine that's between how many motors you're working with and the size of the battery pack. So I mean, we could call it 750 right in the middle.
The Rivian, I think, weighs a little bit more. Do we know if the Lightning is a standard range or extended?
Wow. I guess I did not do that research.
Okay, that's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
It doesn't even say in the description.
Let's just assume that it's an extended range. I still think the Rivian is going to win, just because I think the Rivian is a little bit heavier. And when it comes to a tug of war, especially, is it on asphalt or dirt?
It's on grass.
What?
It's on grass.
Those wheels are just gonna spin like crazy.
Well, see, that's why I was so interested in this, and I'll just kind of give you guys a little more information here because I already watched it.
Yeah.
So
I say Rivian. My vote's Rivian.
Okay, Rivian.
I'll go for it for
just
fun.
Go ahead and vote.
Yeah,
we'll watch
I'll go
it.
for
Ready?
it just for fun.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and cue this one up.
Oh man.
All right, so it is a Lariat model. I'm guessing it's got to be extended.
Yeah. Tesla Raj. I see his stuff on Twitter sometimes.
I think that's exactly where this was posted. So, is it?
Oh no.
Do you see what it is that's making it win?
Not really, but
is that Rivian also going downhill?
It does kind of look like that, but I'm going to assume for the sake of science it wasn't. But where the Lightning starts spinning its wheels, the off-road kind of science of or engineering of the Rivian, where it can kind of adapt and roll slower, you could see that technology starts kicking in. So right away the Lightning pulls away, but then it's spinning out, and then do you see how slow the Rivian's wheels are just focused on it?
Yeah, and
they need to do that again on asphalt.
Yeah,
I want to see that on asphalt.
Yeah,
that's exactly what the blog version of this said, is that it'd probably go a lot different because you'd have more weight and power coming from the Lightning.
Yeah.
Well, I think they weigh about the same, don't they? I know my F-150 Lightning extended range weighs about 6,700 pounds. I don't know what the Rivian weighs.
It says Rivian weight, curb weight is 5,842.
Oh, wow, that's lighter than I thought. Okay. I thought it was heavier
within
than that.
what?
But the
800 pounds?
Well, here, Mitchell, educate me real quick. Curb weight is 5,842. The GVWR, which is what? Gross vehicle weight ratio?
Gross vehicle weight rating. That's how much you can. That's the vehicle, the cooler you put in the back, the occupants, any windshield washer fluid. That's the total capacity of the truck and everything you put in it.
Okay,
meaning you cannot go over that amount.
Okay, gotcha.
I did not know that.
And while we're on the topic, if you ever see something that says GCWR, that's the gross combined weight rating. That is the exact same thing as the gross vehicle weight rating, but it also includes the trailer. So GCWR is, let's say you have an F-150 Lightning, you've got a trailer behind it. The gross combined weight rating, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but let's just call it 18,000 pounds. That means the truck that weighs 6,700 plus the trailer of this weight plus the occupants and the stuff on the trailer, the whole rig cannot weigh in excess of that amount.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I'm not much for towing, but that will be good to know once I get a Lightning and get into towing. I'm going to need to know
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Useless knowledge.
Awesome. I don't know, though. I love learning little stuff like that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, guys, that's I guess, kind of segueing us into, those were kind of the headlines we have set across, but we'd like to talk to Mitchell a little more. We're happy to have you here, and we're going to kind of pivot this into hopefully me teeing this up doesn't make it awkward or anything, but we'd like to.
Should I be nervous right now?
Yeah, we're going to drop the hard questions is what's happening.
Yeah, we're playing hardball now.
Well, I can confirm that if you sent me the questions ahead of time, I sure didn't look at them. So this is 100% unprepped.
No, these are softballs.
You know what? I have one to kick us off that I might not be a softball, but
nothing is off the table, by the way. Yeah, you throw me as hard of a ball you want. Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay. So, I know I've made videos criticizing dealers a ton. However, there's people I look to online as resources as dealers. Like, I've had on the show Tim Baltz. I know you've probably seen him around doing this stuff.
Guy.
And you both are. And it's like, there's this weird thing going around, and I'm guilty of just saying, yeah, all dealers are the worst, but like, there's just that stigma in the air. So I kind of want to just turn the mic over to you to hear, like, how do you fight against that stigma and set yourself apart? And like, what's your mentality going into that? Because obviously something's working for you. You don't have to deal with that same, I guess, hate or whatever you want to call it. Or at least maybe you do. And it's just, obviously you don't put that side of your, life on the internet, but, share with us how you can, set yourself apart and what you think dealers need to do more of to get rid of that stigma.
That's a great question. A fantastic question, actually. So the way that I always looked at this and have always looked at this is that saying that every dealer is bad is like saying that every lawyer is crooked.
Yeah.
It's like saying that every every pastor has got hidden things that they don't want to talk about. It's like saying you can't categorize that every dealer is a bad dealer. Are there more bad dealers than there should be? 100%. There's a lot of dealers that need to get their heads out of their rumpus. And I'm trying. This is the censored version, family friendly, right?
Yeah, I hear you. Loud and clear.
But there's a lot of dealers that that don't understand just true business. There's a really good organization that I followed that'll name nameless, but he has one famous phrase that he says all the time, and he said that, and he's actually quoting someone else, but they say that if you do good in the marketplace, you take care of your customer, they will reward you with certificates of appreciation with presidents' faces on them.
Money. For viewers at home, he's referring to money.
No, it hit me a little late. Yeah, definitely.
So I've always believed that if you just take care of people, you'll never have to worry about money. A lot of dealerships are so worried about money that they're going to run themselves out of business because the market's going to catch up to them, whether they want to admit it or not. It's a short-sighted mentality. I actually welcome dealers to doing this kind of practice if they want to, because what it's going to do is going to run them out of business very quickly, very, very quickly. Because here's the thing: if I have a customer that shows up at our dealership and we screw them, they might buy that car that day, but do you think they're ever going to come back to see you ever again?
Exactly.
They're going to tell every person they possibly can about, hey, you don't need to go to this person. And we're the opposite. Is you just worry about taking care of people, and they send you their friends and family because they know they're not going to get screwed. So that's what I have to say about it, is that the dealers that are acting a fool, you need to quit it. If you're not willing to quit it, just do it a lot, so that way you run yourself out of business faster.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
you know,
There's this theory, or I guess not theory, but so I do like digital marketing for my non-YouTube job, and I work with this company called HubSpot. It's kind of like Salesforce. It's like a CRM platform, and their whole philosophy is like the sprocket, right? The flywheel, and that to only really sustain your business is, you have like the sales, you have the marketing, the attract stage, the sales stage, but just as important as everything else is that customer service leg. If you can't really like make an impact with people, you're not going to have repeat customers, you're not
That's
going to
right.
have word of mouth, you're not going to have referrals, and that for a lot of businesses is like 50% or more of the stability of the business is word of mouth stuff. So
That's right. And
it's
are we
cool to hear
perfect?
that.
Are we perfect?
Oh, sure, right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. We screw up more than I care to admit. But the difference between us and other dealers is we actually care. If we screw up, we'll do everything we can to fix it. If that makes
Love
sense.
it.
That's
No, I love it.
that's the biggest difference. But anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bud.
Not at all. I mean, I was about to go down a rabbit hole, so I think it was perfect.
All right, I'll hit you with one, Mitchell, here.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back in time now. You said you've been doing YouTube for 12 years now. And the
Yes.
moment I started watching videos on your channel, my first thought was, was this his brainchild? Or was he sitting in a meeting one day and they were like, yeah, we want to increase our social media presence. Nobody really made any eye contact and they just pointed at you. So was this something that you came up with, in hopes of raising awareness of the dealership? Or was this somebody else's project that got lumped onto you?
This is one of my favorite stories that I don't ever get a chance to tell enough. And so thank you for letting me get on my soapbox, but I'll try and make it quick. So back in 2008, the world's crumbling. Dealerships are wondering if they're going to be able to stay in business. Thankfully, we were prepared, so we were fine. But Ford Motor Company was going around from dealership to dealership talking about, hey, everybody, all these dealerships you need to do better with social media. Everybody needs to make a YouTube channel. And so I was like, okay, I mean, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do on YouTube, but we'll go ahead and make a channel. And we posted a video, and then we posted another video, and then we posted another video. And, all these dealers that Ford forced to make a YouTube channel just quit. And so the running joke is that, yeah, we're just doing what Ford told us to do initially. We're just too stupid to quit. So that's, and so that's what it boils down to is Ford, was encouraging dealerships to get out there and do it, but I didn't know what we were doing, and so that, yes, we've had a little bit of success on our channel, but nowhere near what we should have. And a lot of that is because we just, for quite a few years, for almost a decade, didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know that it was about making the best content, that we possibly could, making the absolute best video that we could. But yeah, it was originally Ford made the suggestion to make the YouTube channel, and now they love it and hate it, because they love it because it gives good awareness to Ford. They also hate it because they can't muzzle me because they don't pay my bills. We
Right.
are a Ford dealership, obviously, but they have never once sent me a product early. They have never once given me an opportunity to review a product early. They have never given me special treatment because we're a Ford dealership. I guess they're worried that, I don't want to have to hear from these other dealerships who have, 5,000 or 1,000 subscribers. And which, by the way, there's nothing wrong if you have 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers, but they've never given me a competitive advantage that they do anybody else. So I'm going to talk how I want to. Like, there's some things about the Lightning that I really don't like that Ford needs to change, and I'm not afraid to voice my opinion on that. And that's one of the videos we're working on next is 10 things that really need to change on the F-150 Lightning. But that was I hate to say my brainchild. It was technically it was suggested to me, and then I saw a vision in it quite a few years ago that this could be something bigger than what we wanted it to be and what we thought it could be. And so, I started making videos. We had a couple of videos that would do halfway decent, and I just kind of got this level of buy-in, like, oh, this might actually can work. And I've been told many a times by my business partners and, a lot of different people, you just need to quit. You're wasting your time. Quit. You're wasting your time. And so for quite a few years, actually was, shooting video in the middle of the day when I could find some time to step away. And then I would edit the video in the middle of the night because I couldn't really justify spending the time on it. And
Right.
now I'm grateful that we've got some fantastic people to help make those videos, and it allows us to make some better content for our audience.
Well, and
Yeah.
a quick pin on that is it's so valuable to have an unbiased opinion from people like you because, you said you're into tech and cameras, and Larry and I watch YouTube videos all the time. And the moment a video starts, by telling you that it's sponsored, you're not getting an honest opinion. And so it's so valuable to know that a channel like yours is just going to speak its mind and tell the truth about these products in hopes that they get better in the future. So that's great. Please continue doing that.
And one thing I want to mention, you said that our videos are not biased. They are absolutely biased. They are biased towards Ford. So
Yeah.
they are, but that is the exact reason we don't review anything else. Is because I'm not willing to. I'm not going to compare it. We've done onesies and twosies of videos in the past where we review this versus that, and even though those videos have done very, very well, I've always felt weird in my stomach because I know that I'm biased towards the Ford.
Right.
The main thing is I'm not afraid to call Ford out for a particular thing that needs to be fixed. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
I am
and
biased,
it gives
but I'm not
more,
afraid of Ford.
Right.
Yeah. No, and there's more impact with the ones you do make, knowing that you would turn down one that you think is going to make more views or whatever, just because you wouldn't give your honest opinion or whatever, because you'd steer towards Ford, which is cool to hear.
That's right.
I want to bridge into one more dealer question just because I see it in the comments a little bit. Someone's talking about markups on a Raptor. Do you think there's a fair world of markups at all? Like, I'll kind of lead into it. Like, obviously, there's markups happening, and it's part of these things that are giving dealers some bad names right now. And, I get it. It makes sense that some of them will have to do it. Is there a fair way to do it? Well, let's just start there. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so to answer that question, do you mind if I give you an example?
I'd absolutely love an example.
So this may not be what you guys want to hear. I want to first start off by saying anybody that doesn't watch our channel, on every single vehicle we order for a customer, it is MSRP pricing. Period, end of paragraph. I want to make sure that everybody hears that first. That's what we do. That's what we believe in. Now that I've mentioned that, I got that out of the way. I'll give you an example. So right now, the housing market's kind of crazy right now, and the idea is, let's say that you're in you've got a house, you're putting that house up for sale, and you put it up for sale. And let's just say that you list it at $300,000, just easy math. And the very first day that you list that vehicle for $300,000, you end up getting 15 offers, all of them over $300,000. Let's just call it 305, 310, 320, 325, right? You get crazy level offers. And then you look at Zillow, and their suggested retail price on Zillow is only $275. That doesn't mean you're going to sell it for $275. You're going to take the highest bid. You're going to take if the customer or the potential buyer of that house has got to have it, they'll be willing to pay what it takes to get it. And so I completely understand why some dealers do markups on stock units. I think it is absolutely wrong to my core if you do that to a customer's ordered unit. But if you've got a vehicle that is sitting on your lot and you have three people willing to buy that vehicle, and they're all three willing to pay, one's willing to pay MSRP, one's willing to pay $5,000 over MSRP, and one's willing to pay $20,000 over MSRP, which one are you going to sell it to?
Right.
I know that's not the popular answer, but that is the way that I view things is just a free market will dictate what that vehicle is actually worth. Because at the end of the day, the MSRP is the manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Right. So just to do my job and push back just a tiny bit,
You
do you
push
think
back all
there's
you want.
any is there any truth to the people who would argue that when people continue to mark up, it's just creating an environment where it's the new normal? And in fact, that seems to be like a trend of like dealers ordering less vehicles. I know they can order them, right? Like that's the big problem, but it will make dealers start to order less to then, create an artificial scarcity, and that it's a snowball effect and that it'll continue happening and happening. Do you see that as like a potential downside of this kind of weird kind of market we're in right now?
If that situation could play out like that, I could see your concern. The side of the dealership though is we don't really get much of a choice on how many vehicles we get. Ford
Okay.
kind of tells you. They say here,
Even to
I'm sorry.
order, like, sorry, not to cut you off, but
No, yeah.
even like if they say you need 10, they said no, you need 50, like that can happen.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, that's good to
So
know. I
so
didn't know that.
so like for instance, on the Ford side, they call it wholesale. Basically, once a month, Ford tells you how many vehicles you've gotten on wholesale. And I can't let the specific numbers come out, but when in this current market, every dealer is begging and choosing or begging and pleading for as much inventory as possible. But if you go back to pre-COVID, when there was 800 or 900 new cars on our lot at any given time, when the manufacturer would have extra supply, they would literally go out and campaign saying, "Hey, XY dealer, will you please take this extra inventory?" And any smart dealership is not going to bite the hand that feeds them, the manufacturer, and they'll take that extra inventory and sell it. So I mean, you could technically refuse vehicles from the factory, but you won't be in business long in the
Sure. No,
business.
that's good to know.
Now, when Tim Bartz does his YouTube live streams and he talks about how many vehicles that dealer is going to receive, is that kind of what you're talking about right now?
That's exactly what
Okay.
I'm talking about. Yep.
Okay.
That in the Ford world, they call that a wholesale. It happens once a
Okay.
month, and they tell you exactly how many vehicles you're going to get scheduled for allocation in the coming next 30 days. But that's exactly what I'm referring to, is how many
Gotcha.
vehicles will said dealer. I want to go back to the added markups. I don't think that I don't know the right way to word this. If this comes out wrong, I apologize.
You're not going to offend Larry and I, that's for sure.
No, I'm just trying to think about the best way to explain it. Like, a lot of people think that if you walk on the lot and you see an F-150 Raptor there, that they slap a $10,000 ADM or additional dealer markup on it, that's the end all be all. Well, if what's going to happen is if that is overpriced, no one's going to pay it.
Right.
Yeah.
And if nobody pays it, then the dealer starts looking at it and says, "Oh my goodness, I'm starting to pay interest on that vehicle. I need to get rid of it. All right, well, what about? Do we have anybody willing to pay $5,000?" Everything is flexible, if that makes any sense. So, just because a dealership puts a specific markup on it, it doesn't mean that that's the only price they'd be willing to take.
It doesn't mean that the vehicle's even necessarily worth that if nobody's willing to pay it.
That's right.
It sounds like, yeah.
That's exactly right. And I cannot tell you how many people just in the last 30 days have came in, taken delivery of their ordered unit from our dealership, and then turned around and sold it for $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 profit. And so my thought process is that's the free enterprise. That person has the ability to do that. That's the free country. They can sell it to whoever they want to for whatever they want to. But if it's a stock unit, why is a dealer made out to be the evil person if they have a stock unit to do it?
Yeah.
So not the popular opinion, but it's my opinion.
And I just want to reiterate, I don't want to sound, I don't think attacking is the right word, but I just, had to get your opinion. I'm glad you dove in because I think there's some really insightful stuff there. And, I totally get the side of like the fairness, right? Like if you are selling a vehicle that I could come to your dealer and then just buy it and then sell it and make 10K no matter what, then that's kind of messed up.
That's right.
I think, which in that case, I get a fair markup and it just is part of the world now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to re-stress my only issue is like, you know, sometime at some point we got to level out. Like I just hope that this doesn't like stick around. And I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I made a very a video on our YouTube channel where I planned my thoughts out a lot better than I'm doing for right now, and I actually lay this out in a much better way. So you know, shameless plug, go check out that video.
Yeah. Go.
But I do believe that there is a happy medium. I don't believe that markups are the future. Especially on everyday units.
Sure.
An F-150 gas vehicle, an ICE F-150 does not need to be seeing a markup. An Escape doesn't need to be seeing a markup. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But I also think what would be best for the entire country is to slowly get to the situation where it's MSRP across the board. Because I also made the point in that video that customers actually will get a benefit in residual values by dealers sticking to an MSRP price model, not going over, not going crazy below, and not using crazy rebates, because these crazy rebates we used to have was crushing values on customers and will cause some serious negative equity.
That's interesting. That's
a lot of people don't realize how negative a rebate can be on a customer's resale value.
Man, great stuff. I really appreciate you diving into that.
Okay, I have a quickie. So first, Mitchell, will you rattle off the spec of your personal F-150 Lightning?
I would be happy to. Yeah, I've got a carbonized gray F-150 Lightning. It is a Lariat extended range, which the only option that I got on top of that would be the max trailer towing, just simply because I knew it came with some extra cooling. And my opinion might be flawed, but my thought process was if it comes with a little extra cooling, who knows, maybe it'll last a little bit longer. That's
interesting. And I only because I had a Bronco reservation, and I remember early on in that process, they said, depending on what options you pick, it might delay when you take delivery. And so then fast forward, I'm doing the same thing with the Lightning. And I wondered, I saw the tow tech package. I saw the max tow package. And I'm like, every box I check, am I delaying my possible delivery date? So it's reassuring to hear that even the early units, even the units that have already made it to customers, you can add on those packages. And it doesn't sound like it will delay your delivery. At least that was the case when you ordered.
That's correct. So, and forgive me, I know we talked about this, but I don't know if we were live when we said this. So if you're watching this and this sounds like a duplicate, I apologize. But the Ford Motor Company, they debuted, or they got greenlit on the F-150 Lightning project back in like 2018. Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford Motor Company, actually admitted that on when he went and took the thing to Jay Leno and let Jay Leno drive it. So it's facts. It's out there. And so they greenlit that project so many years ago. Obviously, it was a secret at the time, but way back then, they had to plan for what batteries do we need, what trim levels do we think will be selling the most, what do we think will be the hottest sellers, and they have to make predictions. What I'm not a mathematician. Was that 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Way before anybody ever placed a reservation. Yeah, it's a long time ago. Nobody in their right mind knew that the F-150 Lightning was going to blow up as big as it did.
Or that COVID would happen.
That's
that too.
There's that also plays a small little factor in it.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can plan for that kind of thing that far in advance. And so what I did when I was, placing my order on my F-150 Lariat is I literally selected that trim level because I knew that's what Ford had estimated to be the biggest seller. So therefore they had the most supplies of that.
Right.
And that's the so for that reason, and then also I really like Blue Cruise. Now I'm addicted to Blue Cruise.
I love it.
So those are the two different, 1-2 punch why I selected that particular trim.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
And
I've got a quick one.
Oh yeah, go Larry.
If you're not done with this, please go ahead, Joe.
Well, my quick follow-up was, I saw that you installed a bed cover on your Lightning. So are you willing to divulge maybe like what's your next upgrade? What's the next thing we're going to see rolling out of the TC Customs garage on your Lightning? If there's anything planned.
That is, this is going to be the most unfun answer to this question. Nothing. I am done.
Really?
So I don't know if you guys
awesome.
follow our YouTube channel, but I've also got a 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands that I have spent way too much money on. I went a little nuts. My wife basically said, "Hun, it's okay. It's going to promote the business," and I'm like, she just gave me a blank check. Let's go. So I've spent way too much money on that Bronco. And if I want to scratch that customization bug, I'm going to do it on that Bronco.
Oh, okay. Good.
And so I'm, and the other reason is because I plan on taking that F-150 all over Tarnation. I'm going to be doing some long road trips to Orlando, Florida, which all over the country. That's my goal. I don't want to sacrifice the range by leveling it out or putting different wheels and tires. The other thing is that every suspension manufacturer known to man, they put a very clear disclaimer: vehicle has, or this suspension has not been tested with Blue Cruise, and I'm not willing to do anything that might alter or render useless Blue Cruise. And so that's now I will tell you though that I have done two things that I've not talked about on the channel. Is I did a paint protection film all over the whole front clip, so the entire hood, the entire fenders, the mirror caps, the bumpers, the grill, all that kind of stuff, and then also ceramic coated the whole thing. But that's just because I'm lazy and I didn't want to have to worry about rock chips, and I also didn't want to have to worry about washing it as much. So, but other than that, I'm done.
Nice. Very cool. Cool. So got about 5 minutes or so left here. Just want to make sure you're okay on time. Where everyone golden?
Absolutely.
Sweet. What I'd love your opinion on, this hit me halfway through Joe's first question. Ford's obviously announced they're really embracing online sales, right? Do you have any initial kind of gut reactions to that? Is there anything that you are positively looking towards that? You know what made me think of this is you reiterating the value of like MSRP pricing. I think that's their main reason, or what Jim Farley has cited, of wanting to go to direct, clear online sales. I think people say, oh, so what? We're just going to not have dealers anymore. And it's like, obviously, no, you still need servicing. You still need someone to ask questions. You still need to go take a test drive. Like Tesla obviously still has dealers. Like before I bought my vehicle, I had to go test drive somewhere. So dealers aren't going anywhere. So what would you say to that? Do you have any additional kind of thoughts, or are you?
I got lots of thoughts.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a Ford dealer meeting in September, where it is rumored that Ford is going to announce the rules and regulations for all of the current dealers, that if you want to become a Ford Model E dealer, here's what you have to do. Now, I know we haven't talked about it in this particular video, or in this particular live stream, but Ford separated the company. You've got Ford Blue, which is the traditional ICE vehicles, and then you've got now Ford Model E. And Jim Farley is public in saying that all of the Ford dealers will have the opportunity to become a Ford Model E dealer, but the rules, the regulations are going to be so strict, it's going to knock out a significant portion of those dealers. I welcome that. We are going to be one of those. Because I don't know yet, because obviously we've not been to that dealer meeting. And once I go to that meeting, I'm not allowed to talk about it because they make you sign all kinds of documents and stuff. But my guess is that they're going to announce those rules and regulations. And my guess is that they're going to mandate MSRP pricing or don't sell it. Period, into paragraph. So all future EVs, or you sell it at the MSRP or you don't sell it at all. that you have got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. I also think that it would be smart. I don't think Ford will do it, but I think it would be smart for them to force all of these Model E dealers to come up with a DC fast charger.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because think about what happens. Like, there's 3,400 Ford dealers right now across the United States. Let's assume 50% of those, let's just call it 1,500 dealers end up being a Ford Model E dealer. And every one of those is required to do a DC fast charger. You've just instantly put another 1,500 DC fast chargers scattered evenly across the entire United States.
You've just made a network at that point that competes with Tesla.
Instantly.
Yeah.
With the stroke of a pen. Now, the unfortunate side of that is that those Model E dealers, I mean, what does a DC fast charger cost to install? $100,000? I don't know. I'm assuming that's probably
I think 15K for a unit. I think charge point anyway.
We just got through spending for because F150 Lightning can accept up to 80 amp chargers. We installed 2 of those out front, and the chargers and the wiring, we spent about $40,000 on those.
Okay, and for the record,
you have to buy the bigger transformers. You have to run the bigger cables. You have to. The chargers were actually really inexpensive. It's just really obscenely expensive.
Infrastructure.
That's exactly that's the part.
So the 15K might just be the unit.
But either way, but regardless, that would instantly take care of a lot of big issues. We just recently, I don't know if you guys listen to rock and roll music, but we just did a custom Bronco for Zach Myers for the lead guitarist for Shinedown. Whoa. And we delivered it to his home, which I'm not allowed to say where that is, but the video's coming very, very soon to our channel. But we delivered the vehicle to his home, and I wanted the F-150 Lightning to be the chase vehicle. And I couldn't take it because there was no DC fast chargers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, guys. And
it's a learning curve.
Yeah. And it's not even like he lived in middle of nowhere. I mean, it was a big city. So anyways, that's a side note, but that's going to be a fun video that's coming up. So I'm really excited.
That's great. And I just want to reiterate what a solid idea that would be, because it's a win-win. And like you said, like, what does it cost? It immediately pays for itself with foot traffic to the dealership. I mean, making connections with people, say, hey, while you charge, come on in, have a water, whatever.
Right. That's right.
It's great. It's genius. I'm excited to see that, because it could really give like you just said it yourself. It's there that we're missing that right now with not having the accessibility of chargers for non-Tesla vehicles. And if Ford could come in and be that solution for even non-Ford vehicles, like, they'd have to be open to everyone, I think, which I don't see why they wouldn't. Boom. It's fantastic. So well, and that got me excited.
And once again, that's also speculation on my part. I don't know for sure that they're going to come out with that. I just really think that would be a good idea to force each one of those dealers. If Ford is really, I am convinced that EV is the future, that's how they've got to solve that. Is you've got to find a way to build a better infrastructure. I know GM is partnering up with like Flying J or Love's Truck Stops, and they're supposed to be putting in thousands of EV chargers across the United States. Well, I mean, you combine that mixed in with what Ford can do with their dealer body, I think it'd be great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Well, and that was going to be my point, is those are the people you want coming to charge at a Ford dealership are the people that aren't driving Fords yet, because they're going to come in and see like, oh, you know what, that Mach-E that's pretty slick,
Yeah.
Test drive while your other car's charging. Man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a great way to upgrade them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
hey, Joe, do you have a final question for Mitchell here to kind of bring this home? No pressure, but can you give us the most perfect question to end on that summarizes everything and makes everyone happy?
How tall are you? No,
I'm only 6'1". Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So this will segue nicely into the next piece of content that you might see from Mitchell and Town and Country. Because I already had it on my list of questions, is so what's one thing that you'd like to see Ford improve with the Lightning? And you said that that's already a piece of content that you're planning on maybe putting out, is like 10 things I would change or something. So of those
Mhm.
10, because I watched your video that was my 5 favorite things or my 10 favorite things,
Yep.
which I loved. So can you give us just one of the 10 that you would change about your Lightning?
Yes. So the very first one, and there's probably some people that have covered this already, but the fact that you can't see the percentage state of charge out of any other than calm screen is asinine.
Okay. Wow. He's not holding any
It
punches, folks.
it
Okay.
is the fact and the good news is that is a simple over the air update that if Ford wants to change it, all they have to do is click a button. I mean,
Right.
you
Oh
have
yeah.
coding or whatever, but you don't have to go. But the fact, so when I'm driving my vehicle, I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
no.
I'm pulling up to work and we've got these chargers out front. Should I let it sit on the charger while I'm at work, or I'll just drive it home again? I
Yeah.
have to stop what I'm doing. I have to go into the steering wheel. I have to go over to my view, go up to calm screen, let it change, and then it'll tell me my percentage state of charge. Or I can click 2, 3, or 4 times on the big 15.5-inch screen, and
Mhm.
it'll tell me my percentage state of charge. Um, that's too much.
Yeah.
That you need to that percentage state of charge needs to be on every screen on the instrument cluster, in my opinion. That is the one thing. Now, and I want to preface this by saying I think the Lightning is a game changer of a truck.
Oh,
It
yeah.
will change. It'll change the entire industry on EVs.
Mhm.
But that has got to change. That has got to
Well,
change.
and like you said, it's a simple fix with over-the-air software updates. So
Yep.
if enough of us make enough noise about it, they can they'll hear
Oh,
us and they'll fix it.
I've got another one. I know you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to give you another one that I wanted
Hit
to
it.
cover. So in the vehicle, and I don't know if the XLT and the Pro is any different,
Mhm.
but in Alabama, it's hot. Okay.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hot. But when you get in that vehicle, it's 100 degrees outside. If you look underneath the screen, underneath that big 15.5-inch touchscreen,
Mhm.
you have a hazards button, you have a traction control button, you have one other button, and then you have max defrost. Perfect. Okay, you got a max defrost. It's great for when it's cold outside, right?
Right.
There's no issues there. Well, when you crank the vehicle, when you start the vehicle up,
Mhm.
and you got the entire infotainment screen, you got the climate control at the bottom again.
Mhm.
You have a redundant online button for max defrost as
Yeah.
well. Why do you need a physical button and a digital button when we in Alabama we need a max AC
Sure.
button? Can I get an
Yeah.
amen?
Yeah.
It's it's to it, and so that could also be fixed with an over the air update
Mhm.
to give us the ability to customize
That'd be cool.
the control the air conditioner controls at the bottom of that screen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know that'll probably take a little bit of coding, but man, that would be a nice one.
Man, they engineered that one in Michigan during winter.
Mhm.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. You need 2 buttons for the max defrost. So,
Yeah.
That's funny.
like I said, I want to reiterate that thing is a fantastic vehicle, and there's way more to
Mhm.
love about it. The fact that you can narrow down the things you hate to simple things that can be changed with an
Right.
over-the-air update, that means you've got a winner on your hands.
Mhm.
Totally.
And it's only gonna get better with time.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
that's another beauty.
Yeah, I've already gotten like 4 updates since I've had my Lightning. So
Really.
they're not playing; they are actually updating it.
I love hearing that. Well, Mitchell, man, this has been a blast, and I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing some time with us. I really had
Absolutely.
a fun time. I feel like I could chat with you guys all evening.
Same
So
here.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
this was a blast. I feel like I met a celebrity today. I've been watching your videos for a year now. So just
Where is he? I hadn't seen him
no.
yet.
But seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to, a couple of
Thank you.
YouTube guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Absolutely. Anytime, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And both y'all keep up the great content. We appreciate it.
Hey, man, that's really kind. And for everyone watching, hey, thank you guys too. Obviously, we would be talking in the ether without you, so I appreciate it. And with that, I think we're done. So bye, everybody.
See you
Have a
guys.
good one. Peace.